Hello friends, welcome back to the Python programming session. In the earlier session, we had seen the layout of the Pomodoro timer, and in today's session, let's add the functionality for the Pomodoro timer. So, when I execute the previous sessions, when I see the previous sessions output, I get my Pomodoro timer in this particular manner where the text is Pomodoro timer, then a tomato image and the timer on this particular tomato image, the start reset button and the check marks label. As of now, the check marks label is not visible because we have not added any functionality still. Once we add the functionality, we can see the tick mark after each work item has been completed. So now let's add the functionality for the Pomodoro timer. The first let Initially let me give some variables, add some variables. So work underscore minutes equal to 25. So each work interval is equal to 25 minutes. So I given work underscore minutes. Then I'm having a short break, short underscore break, which is equal to 5 minutes. Long underscore break, which is equal to 20 minutes. Then I'm defining my counter, which is initializing it to 0 initially, timer equal to none. So these are the variables which I'm defining at the beginning of the program. Now let's add the functionality for start timer and reset timer functions. So initially I'll remove the pass. So my button is start underscore button. So start underscore button. Initially, I'll make the state of this particular button as disabled. When I start the timer, the button goes into disabled state. And then let me say global counter. And now let me increment my counter. Counter initially was 0. Now let me increment my counter to 1. Counter plus equal to 1. After doing this, in the start timer function, now let's convert the work minutes into seconds. So work underscore seconds equal to work underscore minutes into 60. So I'm converting each of the minute. I'm multiplying the work minute into 60 so that it will get converted into work seconds. Similarly, short underscore break underscore second equal to short underscore break into 60. Similarly, long underscore break underscore seconds is equal to long underscore break into 60. So I'm converting the minutes into seconds and adding it into work underscore second, short break underscore second, and long break underscore seconds. And now what I have to check over here is for the first one, for the first work interval, the counter will be 1. So, and for the second work interval, for the short break, the counter increments to 2. So for whenever it is divisible by 2, the counter is divisible by 2, then we have to go in for the short breaks. So this is 2, this is 4, this is 6. So whenever it is divisible by 2, we have to go in for short breaks. And when it is divisible by 8, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So it is a long break. And when it is 1, 3, 5, or 7, it is the work interval. Sorry. So here I'm checking if counter equal to sorry, if counter modulo 8 equal to 0, when it is divisible by 8, then it is a long break. So I have to call another function called count underscore down and pass in the long break seconds. And I have to pass in the long break seconds. And the title also have to change now. So title.config text equal to blank for the first row for the first title, and the second title, that is title underscore label, that is the second title, dot config text equal to long break. So I'll give it as long break, and fg for this is equal to quotes hash 34280C. 34280C, it is the hex code. So whenever it is a long break, the instead of Pomodoro timer, initially it will show Pomodoro timer. So see, Pomodoro and timer. Now this text will become blank and the timer text will change to long break whenever there is a long break appearing. So the text changes to long break, and the foreground color is the hex code which I given for the brown color. elif. So if the counter is not percent modulo 8 is not equal to 0, it will go to elif. Then it will check if counter modulo 2 equal to 0. Then it will go for the short break. So now I have to say, I'll copy this. So I have to give it a short break. It is the short break. Title.config, I'm making the text equal to blank, the first title, and title underscore label, I'll make it as the short break. So this thing, and once if it is neither of these two, it will go to the else condition. So when it is 1, 3 or 5 or 7 odd number, then it will go for the else condition and it will call the countdown. Countdown, it is the work second. Work second text, and then here it will show it as work. Here it will show it as work. And now for each of these, whether it's a long break, short break or work, it is calling the countdown function. So we have to write the functionality for the countdown. So def count underscore down, and it is taking the value long break second or short break second or work second. So I'll add count over here. It is taking one parameter. And now this count value, I'm breaking it into minutes and seconds. How do I break down the value into minutes and seconds? So here count underscore minutes, comma, count underscore second equal to div mod. So it will divide count comma 60. It will divide count by 60. Quotient will go to the count minutes. Remainder will go to count seconds. And this time, that is the minutes and seconds, we should add it onto a Pomodoro timer. So I have to say canvas dot item config, item config, timer text. So it is timer underscore text. Whatever we're having for the timer, that particular text equal to, I'm using the string formatting, count underscore minutes colon 02D. So two digit minutes will appear. Then I'm closing the curly braces, then colon. Then for the seconds, I'm having one more curly braces, count underscore seconds colon 02D. Then I'm closing the curly braces, closing the curly braces. So basically here the timer, whatever we are having on the Pomodoro image, will be updated to count underscore minutes and count underscore seconds in this particular statement. Now I'm checking if count greater than 0. If the count is greater than 0, I'm starting the timer again. I'm starting the timer again. Sorry, I'm not. If the count is greater than 0, then I'm saying global timer and then global timer. Then my timer will be equal to root underscore root dot after, sorry, root dot after 1000, that is 1000 milliseconds. I'm calling count underscore down, comma, count minus 1. So when the count is greater than 0, it will call this particular function count underscore down. That is this particular countdown it will show, and the count value will decrease by 1. So each time it will decrease the time by 1 point. So here we are calling the counter again countdown function again, and the count value will decrease by 1. If the counter is not greater than 0, then it will go to the else condition. It will go to the else condition and it will start the timer once again. And the tick marks what we want to have, initially it will be null, it won't be having any value. Then it will check for sessions equal to math dot floor counter by 2 divided by 2. So if it is a work session, then only it will add the tick mark. Next, for I in range sessions, it will add the tick mark. Ticks plus equal to the tick mark symbol. So for this particular tick mark, I'll copy it from my Pomodoro uh, program. So it is this particular tick mark which it adds. So this particular tick mark gets added. and then it will update to check underscore marks dot config text value equal to ticks. So it will update to ticks. So for every work session, we will have one tick. For 4 work sessions, we'll have 4 ticks. And after encountering 4 ticks, it will go to the long break. And now there is one more function which we have to write, that is the reset function. So I had given pass earlier. Now let's write the functionality for the reset function. So when we do click on the reset button, start underscore button of state will become normal. So we'll make it enabled. And what are the title which we have to give? Title, and then we have to say root dot after underscore cancel timer. So whatever time it was running earlier, when we click on the reset button, it will cancel that particular activity. Then what happens? Canvas dot item config timer underscore text comma text equal to 00:00. So when it is resetting, it will reset it back to 00:00. Then I'm having title dot config text equal to Pomodoro, and the foreground color for the text will be equal to hash, in quotes I have to give hash 34280C, 34280C. Then title underscore label dot config text equal to timer, and the foreground color for this also is equal to hash 3428C0C. And then check underscore marks. If any tick marks are there, we have to clear it. So dot config text equal to blank. Then the counter value also we have to make it 0. So global counter, and then counter equal to 0. So for the reset button, we have to take care of all these functionality. So what happens actually is when I click on the reset button, the state of the button changes to normal. It will cancel the timer, and it will give the text Pomodoro timer, and the counter also it will reset to 0. Check marks, it will make it blank. If any check marks are there, it will become blank. And for the start timer, we are disabling the start button, converting the minutes into seconds, the work minutes, break minutes into seconds. If the counter is divisible by 8, it will go for the long break. If it is divisible by 2, it will go for the short break. Otherwise, it will go for the work interval. For each of them, it will call the countdown function where the count decreases by 1. So we can see it on the timer. The count keeps decreasing by 1, and then it will check if it is counter divided by 2, and for the range of I for this particular sessions, if it is a work session, then the tick mark appears and it will update the text, that is the tick mark on the check marks variable, check marks label. So this is how the countdown function works. So basically we're having start timer, reset timer, and countdown functions. So now when I execute it, so now when I start, it will start from 25, then it keeps on reducing because it happens in the countdown function. It keeps on reducing, and after completing 25 minutes, a tick mark appears over here indicating that the work interval has been completed. Then after 25 minutes, it will go to the short break. The label changes to short break, and a short break of 5 minutes will appear. Again, it will go to the work session, and then another tick mark appears. Then it will go to the short break. Again, it will go for another work session. So 3 tick marks will appear. Then it will go to the short break. Then again it will go to the work interval. Fourth tick mark appears. So after the fourth tick mark appears, it no longer takes the short break, but it will go into the long break. And after the long break is completed, again the cycle continues, and it will go for work, short break, work, short break, work, short break, work, and again long break. So this is how the Pomodoro timer works in Tkinter. So hope so friends it was clear for you. Since it will take a long time for completing 25 minutes, we cannot see the tick mark. So you can execute this in your session or make the timer low like 1 minute so that you can see the tick mark appearing. You can make the work minute as 1 minute, and then short break also 1 minute, long break also 1 minute, and you can see the time check tick mark how it appears in the check label, check, what is it, check marks label. So hope so friends it was clear for you the explanation of the Pomodoro timer. We saw the layout in the previous session, and in this session we saw the functionality. If you have any doubts, please do reach to me out in the comment section. If you like my video, click on the like button, and please do subscribe to get notification of my new videos. Till then, see you. Bye bye.